How can we kick ass when teaching online from home? I don't know if I know it, but at least we could try to keep the participants awake, right? So how to do it? I think we should start with some small interaction to have, you know, a little bit of music and what can be done asynchronous, because we are not in sync with Zoom, but later on I will tell you more about how it can be possible, potentially, to also have a little bit of a touch. And many people since the last 12 months did a lot of new improvement and were very innovative and are very innovative in terms of can we meet and, for example, sing in a choir outside or use Jamalus or other solutions, and is it worth it, and you know, all these things. So I'm gonna do a little bit of music with you, and then I will show you more about how it works around here where I am back home, and then we will also have a chance to talk a little bit if there are, you know, questions. So don't put too much in the chat, because then it will be too much. So maybe just save your comments until we get into the Q&A session, and then we see what we're gonna do about it. Yes, so I consider this field to not get totally confused, that e-learning is like when we use the internet and different tools to work with, for example, music. Distance learning is where we are right now. We are not in the same room, but potentially we are sharing the same time. And blended learning is a big hybrid of everything, where I believe that we can come up with new options after this pandemic, because we learned a lot from this, what we can do and what we cannot do, and what we should keep, because the learning curve will go up. So I really think that this is a good way of make a distinction. So Heteropodian Patterns, to talk a little bit about music, so that you also maybe learn something new today before I move on with some other talks. So Heteropodian is what we had a little glimpse of first here. So if you are with me here, I will mute a mic in the room to have this mic activated. So feel the body rhythm by doing this somewhere where it feels okay. This is the pulse. Everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right. And then think about what you hear. What kind of rhythm structure are we having? It's polyrhythmic. Yeah. So would you say it's line number 1, 2, or 3? And then show me on the screen 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, exactly. I expected to have different. So we are here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So the first one, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 10. Let's have some fun with that. So it makes a symmetric rhythm, asymmetric, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I will now add another layer, and then show me with your finger if you think it's line 2 or 3. Yes, show me on the screen 1 or 2 or 3. Ilya Panzer, what do you think? Show me your best shot, Ilya. 2 or 3? Yeah, 3, I can see it. Yeah. So, because it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, so it's not has a nice groove, right? It's pumping. So let's play with it. And now I think you notice that we have one left, and here it comes. The middle one, 3, 3, 2. Try to sing with it. And all together. Change between the different lines and just imitate what they are. Very good. So I think that you all now just passed the entrance exam to join the rest of the seminar. No, I mean, the problem here, of course, my point is that if I'm just talking all the time in a normal situation, people will do a lot of other things. So for example, this is one of the tricks I used to, for example, ask Ilya Panzer to be, showing something, be very into who do we have here. Dario, how are you doing today, Unmute your mic, please, Dario. How are you actually doing today?
Oh, I'm actually doing quite fine. I just came back from a walk.
Very nice. And so it goes and goes. I could, for example, also activate you all with something like this. So you see in front of you a poll, right? But you don't know yet what to do about it. So I will now play a scale for you guys, and then and don't worry, no one will know who answered what. So Asbjørn Bertelsen, Faroe Islands, you can just press Login already now before you actually hear anything. So, okay. I do this so that you can't see. No, I do this so you cannot see my piano. Hello. Karin Müller, that was something for you, right? Okay, so I play now for you something, and then I want you to activate what you think it is.
Dorian.
Yes, I will mute all again, but thank you. So okay, I see I give you 2 more seconds to give it a go. Yeah. I'm with you here again. Yes, I'm back, and end poll and share results. Right? So I think there's a chance to say that this was Dorian. It could be Lydian if you start on another tonic root, but that's another talk. And so on and so on. So you can activate polls in Zoom if this is your video conferencing choice. What I have here on blended in layer wise is Prezi video. So you can kind of think about if you like it or not. I don't want to use it all the time, but I think for interaction, this is not sharing screen anymore. It's like sharing something as a layer on my video, right? So you can put a lot of things into it, and here I just, what I'm going to talk about, and then when it's about that, I can go on full screen or I can take it off again. Behind me I have a green screen that is relatively new, so I don't know if I'm gonna use it or not, but right now it's a test for me. I will put myself on spotlight for everyone. So the thing is that I'm checking out if the background gives something to it or not. And then with the choice of camera I have, I can also go very close or closer to it, or like very close, or like I had. I think this is what I like the most because it has also my room. I call it Homestyle. It's something we should consider, right? The Homestyle. I have light. I have this background that could be anything. I put my logo, not the logo, but the text, where am I from? You see a piano, you see things. A drum. It's like the Homestyle can be so many things. Homestyle can be that you're having your computer on a frog position looking up with a big window back so that no one can actually see what you are doing. So yeah, I will get more back to that. Okay, so when the layer is not enough for interaction when I'm in a class, I need to share my screen, as we all probably do very often. So I use also Prezi for this, for the use, because I like it to be a bit different than a PowerPoint show. But on the other hand, it can also be too much, so there's a balance in everything. But if you don't know Prezi yet, this could potentially also be something that you want to use when you are in a distance learning situation. I like that I can talk about that there are some topics we could go through, but not necessarily all of them. So it's not like from left to right. It's very dynamic. It could, for example, be I want to start here, but no, it's not what I want. So I go all the way back and start here, because today I also want to give you a little presentation on where I'm from, if we haven't met before. So very short, I teach at the Royal Academy of Music in Denmark, and we have 2 campuses. We have one in Aarhus and one in Aalborg, and this is how the music house, our academy, looks like in Aalborg. I've done a lot of empirical research because innovative choir leading at Rama Vocal Center, we have been working with digital learning for many years, because we have students invited from many different countries. So we had a system, or are having a system, where the students are on a boot camp 5 days per month, and in between they go back home to their choirs and conduct them, and then we meet online. So this is why that it was not a big crisis for the pandemic that we had to go online, because we're online all the time. But of course we miss so much to be together also, of course. But that's a little bit about where my experience comes from. At the campus we have a typical room like this, where we run a Zoom, of course, but also Lola, which works between academies. And between academies, with the education network, you can meet up to 3 endpoints and sing and play together with almost no audible latency. to a little glimpse. For example, from here.
Your mic is mute.
Sorry, thank you. So we have a choir in one place and the other choir another place, and together it feels almost, oh, well, it's doable because of the latency. In this case was not more than, I think it was around 10 milliseconds or something like that. So if you're not familiar to the Lola system, this is a map from their website, Lola in Italy, where you can see that the whole world actually has some connections, but it's not possible to reach the whole world because it's more than 3,500 kilometers. But within Europe, you can actually connect between the academies. But it doesn't solve when we are back home, because we don't have this kind of internet. We have public internet. So what can we do? And this is what I wanted to share most with you today. This is how it looks where I am right now. I have this room with a computer, audio interface, mixing desk, piano, and a big screen. So if I'm not on the green screen, I have people up here, and then I have more space to, for example, conduct or show stuff like that. I have a light because it's yeah, good to have some kind of extra light. And then I want to talk about two things now: asynchronous and synchronous. The options that I found. You probably have other solutions or something, so let's share what we have afterwards. But what I use a lot is the a cappella app, because I teach call conducting. So what I do, for example, with the app is that I send a link where I've recorded the first frame, and then the student will fill in with 2 or 3 other tracks to practice on what we are doing asynchronous. So when we meet next week, this student, for example, already have some experience from the topic, so the vocal painting. So this is the name of the app. Unfortunately, it only works for iOS, and that's a big bug. I don't know yet what to do with Android, so that's a problem. Over here you see that I use asynchronous or flipped classroom, so I upload every week always a video where I show them how it works, what I want them to learn, and for example using the app to sing in the 4-part harmonies, and then ask them to fill in with their own version. And let's check out a little bit how it went.
1, 2, 3, 4.
In this specific case, I also conducted, so which we didn't see, but I taught her some vocal painting gestures so that along the way she would have to change to long notes and short notes, and we also went half step up and a lot of things that she has to do herself and can do, like we call kitchen singing. So to activate learning in between our weekly classes is where I have a lot of focus at the moment. So what about Synchronous? Well, since Lola doesn't work from home, there are Jamulus, there are sound jack and good working systems. In my case, I use Jamkasam and Sonobus. Sonobus is a new thing for me and has my big recommendation. I say Jamkasam and Zoom because Zoom has the flexibility to show and keep us in a meeting in a nicer way than the video function in Jamkasam. So personally, I open a Zoom meeting both for Jamkasam and Sonobus. They do the same. They give us the option to sync together with lower latency, much lower latency than Zoom, for example. And let's have a little taste of the two things. So first Jamkasam, where I tried with my colleague Jesper Holm.
When I find myself in times of troubles, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. In my hour of doubt, she is standing right in front of me. Noch einmal, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
So I would say for preparation for a next class or something, me and my colleague, this is a very nice, very nice way of showing up. So Jamkasam and Sonobus, I believe works in a way faster if you can live with not more than 6, 8, 10, maybe maximum 12 participants. More than that, I think Jamulus works better because it's another way. It's not peer-to-peer. It's based on a network through a server. Sonobus. The next thing is like, I don't know if the students will hate me now, but I decided to show it anyway. That we just this week tried it, and I tell you, it is, as you see, plug and play. It worked almost immediately between Iceland, Norway, UK, and here Denmark. So it's very promising peer-to-peer. Here we have I'm very much in love with finally that we have a chance between the students and teachers to be kind of synchronous again. And the sound quality can be really good because in this case we send in PCM 16-bit. It means not compressed and the same quality like a CD. It can be even better. And the lady down to the right, she was actually on Wi-Fi in this case. So it's yeah. Now I wanted to tell you that check out Sonobus. I think it's here to stay for me. Yeah. Tech-wise, before we move on, I've today talked about Zoom for video conferencing. Prezi Next and Prezi Video are the tools for giving the layers, directly on, for example, I do it again now. I activate these slides directly on my window. That's called Prezi Video, and Prezi Next is just another version of PowerPoint from another provider. Acapella, the app for iOS, and Moodle. I mentioned Moodle because it seems to be a quality that we have a learning management system, at least for students and many participants. I believe also choirs, orchestras, that there is something that can kind of keep track on the different layers that we use, because we use both Zoom and Sonobus and maybe Google Drive and stuff. So it's very nice to kind of have it central somewhere, so people have one login and then they find the links and relevant stuff. So this is what I use every day, these things here. For low latency, Lola, you see the website for this Italian system that are meant to be for education at higher level, universities and stuff. Sonobus, my newest baby, and Jamkasam. I think they are quite similar. Jamkasam is also very nice and easy, relatively easy to use, but it's not free. So if that's a problem, Sonobus is open source and free, and maybe even easier to use, but maybe some of you have other options about that. Jamulus for bigger ensembles, where there are a lot of videos to be found on YouTube, how it works and stuff like that. But it has my recommendation, of course. And what I'm having here local is this list. iMac, a very fast sound card from RME. It could also be Focusrite, but you must, if you want to do this, and check out your chain. New computer with a wired internet, of course, and as fast as possible. Here I have 1 gigabit up and down, so it's really a lot. Less could do it, but the cable is super important. Forget about Wi-Fi. It's not working. It gives you too many lags. And then we talk about the internet weather suddenly, if it's good or bad on the day. I have a mixing desk to route my loop station, piano, different mics, and the option of giving it some delay if I want to produce a sound for singing, and it's more easy to have a mixing desk in front of the audio interface, I believe. What you see in front of me is Logitech Brio 4K. I didn't have it for a very long time, but I like it a lot, and you see my picture here. I save different settings. So for example, if I stop sharing my screen, I can save so that this is for use to the piano, this is to have it very close. So even though it's not really expensive, it has a nice 4K option and these possibilities. Yeah. Then I have a couple of mics. I like to have a mic for ambience, so what you hear mostly is this one, tap tap tap, that takes like the room, so I don't have to be very close to a mic. But I can also go to this one, dun dun dun, which is for singing. So I have 2 different sound design options. I have some monitors, so because to me using headset all the time is not the thing. I like to feel the sound from the room. And even though with using Sonobus, when I ask students and colleagues, they don't hear an echo. So somehow it can be possible to avoid headphones if you design it, if you don't like it. But headphones, of course, will eliminate that echo stuff. I have a Stream Deck, and I think I will stop my share so you can see what I talk about. This is like for shortcuts. So even though I still forget it, I can down here mute the mic so it goes very fast. I can open different apps and share screen. So it's like instead of searching for where is this button for mic and stuff, it's like in front of me, and it's also relatively cheap, and I really think it's worth it if you are a lot online teaching. What more? I have the loop station, I have a piano, and I also have another camera that has other options. Here you see it again. So yes, this is the other Logitech Camera Pro 2, and Elgato green screen, which I would love to hear your opinion about. If you also have a green screen, if you think it gives something good to it or not, because I'm a little bit in doubt. I like, I call it Homestyle because it's also nice to be, with the person that you meet. And I can turn on my other camera option to give you another, let me see, this one. So it's gonna wake up first, and then I'm gonna change to this. So this is from another angle. If I wanna go over here and do some conducting or play the drums or see it from another perspective, which I also like a lot. So I think that both angles are good to have. Yeps. Let me go back to this one. Okay. I will remove my spotlight so you can all go to gallery view if you like to see who is still here. 61. So, Ida Olsonen, how are you doing? You are very experienced in distance learning from Finland. Are you doing fine today? We can't really hear you yet. Maybe later. So.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're there. Okay.
I'm good. Testing a new headset. Sorry for that.
Perfect. All right. So let me see. Yes. So it's about time to give us your take on this. If you have something you want to ask about, because I wanted you to be inside of my Homestyle distance learning studio here. So maybe you have some questions or comments or another take that would be relevant to hear about. So if you, for example, in the chat, just put your name, I'll see your name, but put something in the chat, and then we can decide if we should hear something from anyone about it. For example, are there any Jamulus experienced people here today? Ilya, tell us something about Jamulus, please.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Jim. Great to see you and all the others.
Likewise.
Yesterday, I actually had my first hybrid rehearsal featuring Zoom and Jamulus. And it was several steps or weeks ahead that we figured out in a smaller group from that choir how to use Jamulus and to get all settings right. And yesterday, during the rehearsal, I suddenly heard voices in my headphones.
Nice.
And I could also see on the screen from the people that only joined via Zoom that they had like a hooray experience, and it was a great feeling, and they were really thrilled that they finally could hear almost in sync other singers. And now I'm trying to push the other choirs to get at least 2 singers from each section to join via Jamulus.
Do you have any idea already now on, will you recommend other persons in the same situation to dive into it? Is it too much work for the effort? Is the delay okay for you to give it a go, or are you look happy, and that's nice.
Yeah, I look quite happy just remembering yesterday evening. Yeah, it's loads of work, and it's very technical. So I think maybe Sonobus for smaller groups might be worth giving a shot.
Yeah, I think so too. One size doesn't fit all. So, and I was so happy that this Sonobus was almost like the first time you meet a person on Zoom. You know, it's like, oh, there's no audio. What's wrong? It's like these things we have to pass, but that's old news. It's a little bit the same on Sonobus. It's like they connect and you hear the voice. And from here, you can improve something about the jitter and, you know, adjust if you can go to the non-compressed audio or not. But it's very nice. So check it out for smaller groups, because then you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time if you're not gonna meet with many people anyway. So, and also Patrick Lax, I see you here. Good to see you again. For recording, for example, you can actually use Sonobus. Also, they go with a plug-in to your DAW, so you can actually make a recording from your side to my side, a serious recording. You could go all the way up to more than 24-bit and 48 hertz and stuff. So it's amazing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. So who else would like to say something? We have 10 minutes more, but also I want to give the word to Dario, because he's gonna tell us about the next Digi Café and for example, do you think it's nice to maybe you can activate the reaction if you think that Digi Café like this is a good thing to have frequently, like every time per month, to have an option to meet and hear something about what's going on back home with people. Yeah, it's already promising. I hope for that, of course. Otherwise, I would probably dig a hole and something. Nice. So, yeah, Sonja, please open your mic and tell us a little bit about the digital stage, because this is also very promising, please.
Yes, thank you. I just typed a little bit in the chat already to explain. Yeah. So we are supporting the development of a new program called Digital Stage that was designed for all kinds of artists, not only musicians. And I think what is special about this program is that it offers 3 different versions. So you will have a web version, which is already available. But like all web-based programs, the latency cannot go down to 30 or 20 milliseconds because the browser means that you have a higher latency normally. But it's good for theater or for some other purposes that you may want to use it. And the sound experience is very, very different from Zoom, because you have a 3D sound and you can put people in the room as well as you like them. So you can put your body next to your ear and hear the one person louder than the others and things like that. And then there will be a PC version, which should very soon be ready for Macintosh and Linux, and will take a little bit longer for Windows, because as for the other programs as well, Windows is a bit more complicated with those audio programs. And then the third version is what we call the box version, which uses a Raspberry Pi mini computer, which if you assemble it yourself, which is like putting together a small IKEA item, it costs about 75 euros. And then you can play a software on it, and then it's actually plug and play. So I've been singing with that one, with between 25 and 35 milliseconds of latency if you have a wired internet connection and a solid audio interface. Though we've even tried using a gaming headset that you can connect directly, which for small groups of singers would also work, but you have less sound quality, of course, than with an audio interface. And I must say that for me, this was the first time I was singing together with 4 or 5 other people. And it's been a thrilling experience just to be able to not just listen to a person, but actually sing together with other people. And I can say that up to a latency of almost 50, it's possible to sing together. Now, the faster the music, the more you have to have a very low latency. And for slow music with 45, 50 milliseconds, you can still sing together. With 100, it's not possible anymore. So I think
that's also what we found out, that low latency, you know, the academy systems where the latency is, you know, you don't really, almost don't feel it. It's incredible. For a good day with Sonobus, I also had something where it's like, okay, no problem, we can really do this together. More than 25, you have to not rely on a steady pulse. But for example, we do a lot of solfege singing, so people can still, you know, or play the piano and say, I'm the guide, you just sing. And in Sonobus, you can, like other systems, of course, you can turn up and down the volume. So if you think that one person is way, you know, delayed for your taste,
you can turn them off.
You can mute or turn it down or put it to the left. So it's still doable to not have this Zoom situation where it's not gonna happen, and you can hear everybody at the same time. So give it a go. And thank you, Sonja. Time is running, so thank you, Sonja. We will, Karin Müller, maybe you could tell us that for the core people, there is a seminar Monday that might be interesting.
Yes, hi Jim, and hi everyone. It's nice to see so many familiar faces, and I think some of you I will see on Monday. I will put our flyer here directly in the chat. I hope yes. We have Mary Martens from the Netherlands for a little talk from our organization, European Voices organization, where I'm the vice chairwoman. Okay. And she will do and talk about methods and online games, especially for choir rehearsals. We will start at 7 on Zoom, of course. And in the flyer, you can find an email address where you can write, and then you will get the Zoom link. It's free. And Mary will do it for 1 hour around that, and then we have half an hour left for discussions and questions. So you are welcome to join us next Monday at 7 o'clock. And the email address, I can write it down here. It's also from the European Voices organization. It's very easy. So that's all.
But that's good. Because I said in the beginning, sharing is caring. So when we do this, like inviting each other to, you know, this works, this doesn't work, we can save a lot of time and get inspired. I did not know much about Sonobus until recently. And then it's like, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for, so that my daily work will work better and faster and more smooth. For some others, different. So before I hand it over to Dario, I think that my headlines, I convinced myself that less is more. And so it means that 50 minutes for my taste is enough. And then do something else, take a walk. And then you can't be in front of the screen all the time. So you have to do it different. And then also the contrasting element is super important. I can't share my screen all the time because it's you know, it's too one way. We need to go between gallery view, speaker view, maybe the layers from Prezi video, have a poll to answer a question. Of course, use the breakout rooms and maybe Prezi as a contrast to not see another PowerPoint show, maybe not, you know, change from different angles and do it short, precise, and with a lot of contrasting elements. That's what I think works the best for digital learning. And not to forget the flipped classroom, where we learn that they actually think, students, choristers, whatever, they like to have something where they can move on with music in between the rehearsals. It's not only every Tuesday night, because you can upload a video where you have sang together with a few other singers in this a cappella app, for example, to tune into the blend and rhythm, and then next week it works much better. So I think we can learn a lot of new things. Yes. So thank you all. I will now hand it to Dario to have the last word on telling us about the next Digi Café, please, Dario.
Yes, hello everybody. So I'm just gonna keep it short. A friend of mine and me, we have started to use Twitch streaming and now as to see if there's a way for young musicians to actually earn money from that. So to use streaming devices, and so we have this channel Music and Future, and we have a little mascot. So that's Pink Mozart, and Pink Mozart is with us on every stream. And so yeah, we're just going to tell you our experience, how it felt landing on this new planet, and what we think is still going to happen. And this is going to be a long-running project, so many things might still change. And yes, that's going to be next month then. I think we said already the 26th of March, if I'm not wrong. But
like the 26th of February today is also 26th March. Yes. Brilliant.
So, that's it.
Thank you, Dario, and hope to see you all again. And you can, of course, contact me if you have something you want to ask about or check about or teach me. I'm really eager to learn. We didn't find time for the green screen, but yeah, it's different than having like just a wall or something, and you can change the background. And I want it to be, not covering everything, but a bit behind. But maybe we can write each other about it. So take care, have a nice weekend, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.